close this little office and we'll have a talk in here, all right? Because you put in an application. You're back on closed visits.
Yeah.
Now, what's your problem about that?
Well, it's put me back on closed visits for suspicion that in the future I might bring drugs into this jail.
Right.
When, you know.
But you have had them in the past?
Yeah, but I've been back on open visits since then.
For how long? We're a totally independent body within the prison. We're a public watchdog in the prison. And there's no partiality whatsoever. So if a member of staff wants to have a word, then we would stop and listen. Prisoners want a word with us so we could talk to them. Sometimes we can sort out their problems, otherwise we just refer them to the right channel. But you do know that it is a prime objective in the prison not to have drugs. I mean, you're aware of the situation.
Yeah, I know, but they can't turn around and say, right, I'm putting you on closed visits because suspicion in the future you might bring drugs into this jail.
Well, they can do.
It's not, I'm not put on closed visits for suspicion of bringing drugs in.
They can do.
There's been no dog indication, no nothing.
Well, there was.
Well, there wasn't.
Yes, there was.
There wasn't.
The passive dog.
The dog has never indicated any of my visitors ever.
Well, I would suggest that you go on negotiating with the governor about it. If you're going out on Tuesday, then there's very little problem.
Plenty of heroin in this jail. More heroin in this jail than any jail I've ever been in. It comes over the wall into the exercise yard. I get mine in books sent through the post. Yeah, what my friends do is they'll pick a book that's embossed slightly like this. So you can see the dent in there. They'll fill that up with heroin for me. Then they'll glue round the first page, stick that page to it, put a weight on it so it's nice and flat, post the book into one of my friends. I'll go and retrieve the book, give them a little something for sorting it out, and then that's me all right for the rest of the week.
But I would suggest that you continue speaking to the governor or to the wing officer about it. And you can ask him if when you come back in you think you might be on closed visit again. Because I can't give you the answer to that.
Whose decision is it? Security? Because I've been accused of it in security and everything, haven't I?
Speak to the governor. Oh yeah, that's as much as I can tell you at the moment.
You know, he accused me of sparking him and everything, didn't he?
Yeah, well...
I even bring my own foil into the prison because the foil that you get from the canteen isn't of very good quality, so you waste half your heroin doing it. And that's, I just see if I've got some on the windowsill, but I'm not sure because I was having a boot not long ago. They should have a wing for people that take drugs to be on, so that the drugs ain't in the whole prison. It's a waste of time having a drug-free wing, because people on the drug-free wing ain't drug-free. You have to say to everyone, right, if you want to take drugs, you go on that wing there, you're isolated and you don't get no piss tests. It's the piss tests that turned everyone to heroin. I originally got on heroin in prison, you know, because at the end of the day, if you smoke a spliff, it's stored in your body fat, so it lasts there for 28 days. If you smoke heroin, you can flush it out in 8 hours, not 72 hours, 8 hours you can flush heroin out in, as long as you drink enough. Every single person that comes into jail, if he's put in a cell with someone that takes heroin, he will leave that jail becoming a heroin addict.
Yeah, 9260.
9260.
From the side of that one, put your ring on there.
Okay. Well, I'll go through the test and I'll explain to you as it's development. Okay, you want me on anything?
No.
That's heroin, cannabis and cocaine. What we're looking for is 2 lines in each. Alright? If you have 2 lines in each window, then it's a negative.
2 lines on each.
Well, you're praying there's 2 lines on each.
I can see them.
So, okay then? Got a negative, a negative, and a negative. Negative, negative, and it's just covering a negative there, right? Well done.
I'm off to see Pete now. He's been here for 2.5 years. He's got parole hearing coming up shortly, and he feels that by moving to a different prison that it's going to affect his parole hearing, in that he feels that the staff won't know him well enough to advise him or to write his parole reports. That's not necessarily the case, but I'm going to advise him on that. Hopefully that should allay some of his fears.
I'm in here on drugs offences, quite serious drugs offences. The sentence I was given was 5 years. I was expecting 8, so it's a very light sentence, really. Quite a surprise, nice surprise. On a 5, you have to, well, you're eligible for parole at 2.5 years, which falls this November. That'll be my 2.5-year point.
It's not taken lightly, you know, it will be a big thing. It has to be said that a lot of prisons, like your training prisons, are more geared up for that, with parole in view. But, I mean, yes, it can be done here.
Yeah. If I move from this prison to another prison, with it being such a short time till parole, I might not get to know the officers at the other prison very well.
Yeah, but, yeah.
You know, my statements or references or documents
Yeah.
concerning parole might not be as good as here.
Yeah, normally it doesn't really take an awful long time for an officer to get to know an inmate, does it? But bearing in mind that all your reports, your wing file, will go from here with you. But that's actually
So, November, fingers crossed, out for Christmas. If I don't get parole, then I'm released, as long as I don't do anything in here, next September.
The decision on whether you stay here or whether you want to go somewhere else, a training prison or somewhere like that, I mean, really, it's your decision.
Hi, 2 iced lollies, please.
HMP, mate.
You are going to throw in a nice big cornet, aren't you? Go on, with some of those hundreds and thousands.
Don't forget, not all deals are as generous as Citroën Saxo from 5795, including £1,000 cashback. The C3 from 7495, including £1,000 cashback. Or the Zara Picasso from 10995, including £2,600 cashback and free air conditioning.
How about playing the music for a bit, then?
Citroën, deals to remember.
It's easy to let the freshness of spring into your house, but not so easy to freshen your fabrics. New Febreze safely removes odours from fabrics and is now spray for spray fresher than ever, filling your whole house with springtime freshness. Hey! New Febreze, fresher than ever.
New from Miracle Grow, Shake and Feed slow-release plant food feeds plants for up to 3 months. Brilliant. Make your own miracles.
Some insurance companies don't want to insure me. There's a company that only wants good drivers. They don't want you to pay for my repairs. The company's eSure. They could save you up to 30%.
You went into the back of my new car.
Calm down, dear. It's a commercial. I'm really a very good driver. That's why I'm with eSure.
Hello, Mum. I'm on the telly.
Buy online now at esure.com.
Thinning hair? Discover the shampoo proven to give men thicker hair. New L'Oreal LV for Men with Regenium XY. L'Oreal has invented a unique formula that thickens hair for better scalp coverage. New LV for Men thickening shampoo, because you're worth it.
Need a plumber? Or do you just want that blockage shifted fast? New Harpic Power Jet with its hydraulic action does it in 3 seconds flat. New Harpic Power Jet. You might find it's quicker than a plumber.
Right, I think that's about it. Unless anyone has anything else they want to say.
Victoria, do you want to...
Yes, I think we deserve a bit of a shakedown. Everyone like to stand up? Thank you. Thanks very much. See you next month. Bye-bye.
Discover the power of the last Rolo. Wickedly tempting.
So, what you've got to ask yourself, weed, is did I finish this dispenser last week, or is there a wee bit left in the bottle? Because to be honest with you, weed, and all the excitement, I kind of forgot myself.
Weedol kills weeds fast.
Hello, Vera.
all the kindness of Persil Aloe Vera, now in a liquid. A drop of nature, awash with kindness.
United they stood.
You're not going to part us. We're going together.
Divided they fell.
I need to go.
Now the celebrities are reunited back home after their bush adventure.
Oh, get me out of here, I'm a celebrity.
I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here reunion. Wednesday at 9, ITV1.
We're on our way to an alarm bell incident. We've had 2 alarm bells in the last 5 minutes, both of them on A-wing.
One relief, please. Okay, 3 coming. 1, 2, 3. Hang on, Ken's in charge up there. Don't stick that on. Get that fucking camera. Hey, don't. Turn it off. Here.
It looks like a member of staff was assaulted by one of the inmates. I don't even know what his name was. Staff intervened and controlled and restrained me. It was quite a difficult one as well because he was tucked right in the corner. Of course, you've got sort of one inmate, 3 or 4 staff, sort of tucked in that corner. It's quite difficult.
Any injuries, staff? Ken, can we get? Have you got your phone? Can we get a staff? Okay, hey, let's get some staff away. Have you got your phone? Away.
We've had 2 bells on here. Right. One on A3 and one on A1. 2 prisoners have been involved in this.
What, in the last few minutes?
Yeah.
You're fucking choking it! It's got fucking spit anyways, man! Casey, call me for a witness! Casey, call Melville for a witness! Can you hear me? Fucking choking it!
Still 4 prisoners I know of which has got friction against staff. Staff on A-wing. I think it's going to be a bit of a control and lock this afternoon. Just to gauge your feeling.
And they've still got exercise to come as well, so we need to just get a feel for...
It's still bubbling on there.
We're going to unlock at 1:45. Given the lunchtimes events, I want that to be a fairly sort of tight, controlled unlock, particularly on A-wing. Keep your ears to the ground. If you're picking up anything, say step back from it, let's look at it and decide what we're going to do. Let's just get through the afternoon to keep the jail steady.
Take your arm out your t-shirt. Let your backbone slip. There we go. Yeah, Mum, that's you done. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Right, I'm Dr. Jones. Today we're going to do the hepatitis A vaccines. Hepatitis A is a liver disease, very similar to hepatitis B. If you've had the hepatitis A vaccine before, you don't need it now. If you've had the Hep B ones, you'd be just as well to have this as well, because it's a completely separate thing. It's potentially very serious, so I recommend that you have it.
Come to Miss... What we're going to do is a mass vaccination against hepatitis A. We've highlighted in the last week or so that we've had 2 confirmed cases of hepatitis A where inmates, and that actually constitutes an outbreak. Hand on your hip. Like you usually stand. Or try this arm, you know the one...
trying?
Put your hand on your hip.
I put my hand on it. Oh, that one?
Yeah, that one, yeah. Bless him.
Best not me.
Best not.
I want blood on my teeth.
Best you sue me.
Oh, just a bit of corn.
Someone blood on my t-shirt, man. 70 quid t-shirt, is?
Well, you nicked it.
They all are.
It is caused through close, prolonged contact. Some poor standards of hygiene and also sharing drug paraphernalia. With the client group that we have got in a prison, they do share facilities, and unfortunately that is sometimes, you know, a good breeding ground for this type of virus. Put your hand on your hip, this hand on hip, like this. Let your top arm go. In the end, it will actually cost thousands of pounds. Initially, we should be delivering 300 vaccinations a day at £20 a time, and then we shall be vaccinating all inmates on reception for at least the next 6 weeks or until the outbreak is contained.
One of the inmates had to be restrained earlier on because there was a scuffle between one of the officers and the inmate. So I had to go and fill what is called a 213. This is a form that's filled out whenever there's an injury to an inmate, either accidentally or in a fight. There was no history of any previous violence. It may be that some issue has come to light and it has now escalated to such a state that he is now very aggressive.
What was the other ball?
Usually after a couple of hours in isolation, they calm down and then they're perhaps more approachable. Right now, he didn't even want to see me. He felt that I was part of the system, colluding against him. I can see his point of view. Generally, prisoners do find themselves escalating their anger until they are put in a segregated unit where they have a little bit of time to reflect and they generally calm down.
What we're going to do now, fellas, is the drug dog's been around and searched your cell this morning. We've got a slight indication in your cell there might have been a controlled substance in there. What I'm going to do, I'm going to leave, get another officer down here now, and I'm going to leave one of you outside with this officer. I'm going to go in, I'm going to give you a strip search, both of you, yeah? And then you're going to come out, you'll be locked in a separate cell, and then me and this officer is going to search your cell properly, okay?
All over the place.
Right, take them with you now.
You try not to rip everything apart like you did last time? The last time I come in here, I thought I was birdled.
What, me?
No, the last time I got me, I had to everything was just ripped everywhere. I got all my kids' photos and things, see?
I'm not like that. You've got nothing stuck on the back wall, have you?
No.
I want to keep these posters in a bit, really. So it should be on a picture board size, really.
We haven't got one.
I know, but you know what I mean? If you imagine one was there, like.
You know, at the end of the tables.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That'll
just go berserk. That?
Yeah.
Outside wall, it wants to come off. I'll take that off anyway. Yeah, so that open. That's it, lovely. Arms up, mate. That's it. Turn round. Right, so that. Okay.
I went to the rehab on a Thursday morning. Whilst we was in rehab on a Thursday morning, apparently they brought the drug dogs on the wing, and there was a strong scent in certain cells. What I've been told now, the dogs give a bit of an indication in my cell. They said because of the dog, I've done that. They took me off rehab. I've had to have an MDT, a mandatory drug test, which is sent away to a laboratory to be tested. And when that comes back, then they said they'll give me a certificate to say I finished the rehab. So I had the MDT yesterday. I'm waiting for the results on it now. You've got choices at the end of the day, haven't you? It's my choice. If I want drugs, I'll take drugs. If I don't, I won't. So I mean, that's my choice not to. Because I know if I took drugs now, I'd be put off this wing onto a wing, and I'd soon be on the transfer list out here. If I'm on the transfer list out here, that's my visits going to my son and stuff. So I got a lot to lose. You know what I mean? Too much to lose just for the joint.
Hello, me old mate. Brought your certificate. And it's a negative again for you.
I was given 12 hours notice. Some staff came and collected me from the workshop I was working in on the Wednesday afternoon and told me I was going Thursday morning. I thought it was a joke, to be honest. I thought they were winding me up, pulling my leg, because I have done that before. The explanation that I was given for my being moved here is the fact that at the moment the prison population is at very high levels and they're crying out for the spaces. I had very little time to do anything really about anything. Basically I phoned my girlfriend and my family and told them I was being moved to Parkhurst, and obviously they were upset and a bit surprised. I did feel very betrayed or let down by Gloucester. I just didn't see how being moved to a high security B category prison miles from my family is going to help in my rehabilitation. If anything, I would say that treating people like that, it breeds resentment. I am very concerned about my parole. I'm just not very confident about it because I'm here in Parkhurst. Because it's the first time through the system, I don't really know anything about parole. I don't really know how the system works. It's not been explained to me. I've asked to have a sentence plan done, and the answer I keep getting is, "Oh, don't worry, it will be done in a week or two." A week or two comes and it's not done. I ask again, get the same answer. So God knows what's going to happen.
I felt at that stage that we would probably move beyond the negotiating stage where they would surrender to requiring to intervene.
Identification may be difficult.
During the early evening, I received a call from the Deputy Governor. Had been informed that there was an incident in the establishment. A group of prisoners returning from evening association had gone into one prisoner's cell, locked themselves in, barricaded them in, stating that they wouldn't be coming out unless a prisoner who was located in the segregation unit was seen by them and returned to his normal location on the wing.
As soon as any more than 2 prisoners refuse to leave a cell under those circumstances, it becomes a serious incident and must be managed in a particular way. There are obvious implications if you have 7 prisoners locked in a cell and then you just open the door and let them all out. The potential for violence from 7 people and the potential for the incident to escalate and spread is an obvious one.
My main concerns were, am I dealing with a barricade or am I dealing with a hostage? Indications were that it was a barricade, but until I can satisfy myself that all 7 prisoners are in there of their own free will, then I have to make the consideration that it is a hostage.
The procedures are that we would automatically put into place contingency plans which are fairly well established throughout the service for dealing with these sorts of things. The first thing you do is try and negotiate with the prisoners so that they would come out peacefully and without the need to use any form of intervention or force.
Remember I said there'd be teams here, lads, they're just here in case anything goes wrong, right? Right?
The area manager offered support by way of mutual response units, tornado units from other establishments, and because the possibility of a protracted negotiation, I felt that I required more hostage negotiator backup.
They're not here for any other reason in case an emergency happens. You've got my assurance on that. These people, you know the... No, I'm not on about them. Yeah, I know.
Negotiation strategy is done basically to transfer the balance of power from where the perceived perpetrator is holding it to the negotiator. So by effective negotiations, the perpetrator becomes reliant on the negotiator. Because 3 prisoners wanted to surrender, we obviously had to make sure that they surrendered at a pace that was acceptable to us.
Right, we're just going to get you out, lads. Remember, the door's going to open. We want 1 out at a time only. OK? Just wait till you're called for to come out.
The chain on the door was placed there to only allow the door to open sufficiently for 1 person to come out at a time. So, for example, if the other prisoners inside felt that once the door was open, they could rush the negotiator or somebody there and take a member of staff hostage, we had to ensure that that wouldn't happen.
First one. Get through there.
3 surrendered, as we expected, and then, as the 4th one was due to come out, he actually caught sight of the senior officer who they felt was responsible for the location of their mate in the segregation area.
This man. Where?
There, look back, what would have bought it? That's the one that fucking started it all. You better run, you don't come in the shop.
Listen, these people are just here for your safety, or should anything go wrong?
Then we drew into the cell, stating that we can forget it, they're not going to surrender, we might as well go to bed, they would be there till the morning. We began to get indications that they were going to set fires in the cell. We also detected a deterioration in their speech. We were concerned that they may have some sort of drugs or the possibility of illicit hooch. I felt at that stage that we would probably move beyond the negotiating stage where they would surrender to requiring to intervene.
Right, take her off. Get some lights in there.
Control and restraint relies on arm locks, leg locks, wrist locks, and they're designed to immobilise the individual in a way that will not actually break bones or do significant harm to the individual.
What's your name and number? Any injuries? No.
They're being brought out in such a way as they are not able to attack any member of staff, but they are humane techniques which have been approved by the Prison Service and the Home Secretary as for legal use of force in prison environments.
Name and number. Name and number.
Shut up.
Name and number.
EW43.
Any injuries?
Removals such as this kind rely on a team of 3 staff removing an individual prisoner. So we had 4 prisoners, so at least 12 staff would have been used.
The intervention plan was implemented at about 20 to 2 in the morning.
All right. Stop spraying out.
By 2 o'clock, all 4 prisoners had been removed from the cells without any injury to staff or the prisoners, and relocated to cells in another area of the prison.
So we've got two pieces of evidence. On the incident itself, I put down part of the cause. There's friction reference to movement of the prisoner segregation unit. Which was the deciding factor, I think.
Yeah, they may have had concerns about it, but that gave them the Dutch courage to sort of do something about it.
They obviously took that in with them, drunk it, decided to do a bit of a demonstration as such.
Yeah. Well, we felt that possibly he had been drinking, which is why the altercation took place in the first place.
I checked with Ken when I was kicking up on the centre initially at tea time. There was no evidence of him having any hooch at that time, so he had the hooch afterwards.
That's the initial negotiated surrender plan.
One intervention, one surrender.
Wasn't reassessed?
We did reassess it, yeah, because in light of the fact there was less prisoners, and originally the plan was long shields, but because of the numbers involved now, they reassessed and went to short shield, and did 2 practice runs in the legal visits room.
Yeah, I've been down and saw those.
Yeah. Which then confirmed that was the right decision.
Okay.
Good morning, healthcare. All right, excellent. All right, we'll get back to you as soon as we can, all right?
Yeah, no worries.
Lovely, Cal.
Okay.
Right. Yep, I'll get him over, sir. You ready for the next one?
One of the difficulties of this job is continual reduction in the amount of staff actually available for duty. Whether it be in the healthcare or on the wings. I know the wing staff get very frustrated. And the pressure of work, more work's given to you because there isn't the staff around to complete the tasks.
Hello, Gordon, it's Darren. Can you do me a big favour, mate? The bodies for the dentist this morning on A-wing, can you round them up for me and drop them over?
A lot of staff don't seem to stay in the job for great lengths of time like they used to.
And then we've got there, right 8.
I've actually resigned from healthcare, sorry to say, through the frustration of the job and one thing or another, and I'm reverting to become back on go work on one of the discipline wings.
Yeah, just if you don't mind, just want to quickly update Rawley's location because they'll be doing a roll check very shortly.
Any bed in any prison, if needs be, we have to fill, whether there be a patient or an inmate from the wings. And if the governor needs a bed overnight for somebody who's not a patient, then we will use that bed.
Orchard's looking at going back to the wings anyway, but there's no spaces over there at the moment. But you need to get rid of him as quickly as you can. You're just going to have to keep on bouncing him back over there, Albert.
It's happening more and more often because of the lack of bed spaces in prisons, not just at this prison, but throughout the whole country.
So it's another space we lost. The only godsend is in the next week or so we're losing 1 in 5, 1 in 6. And we pushed over the weekend with no spaces.
Cheers. All right, bye.
Well, last night was a dodgy one.
We're going to have to discharge some for the weekend.
Because
we've
they come in with...
got no spaces for the weekend at all, you know that.
Extra loads at B&Q means low prices on all gas barbecues just got lower. Save £40 on this.
B&Q extra lows on all wood and garden furniture too.
Where's the loo? I'm sure it was round here.
Catsan absorbs before odour can develop.
A fresh idea from Glade.
Good job Mum's got that new thingy to make it smell nice again.
Glade Touch and Fresh Bathroom is small and easy to use. Your bathroom stays fresh for hours.
Mummy says it's refillable too.
New Glade Touch and Fresh Bathroom.
Ready? Uh-huh.
Toilet Duck Active Liquid with triple action. 1 to clean, 2 to freshen, and 3 with active ingredient Cal X to fight limescale with every flush. For the one that's 3 in 1, triple action Toilet Duck Active Liquid.
So, do you want to invite me up for a coffee?
a little fooling around. Maybe I could spend the night. We could get engaged, married, kids.
Stop. We've only just met. Keep the change. I prefer things a little slower.
Grouch, never rushed.
Now is the moment
I have a feeling about you.
to go inside.
I do it on my own.
8 Mile.
But you just make sure you flip the script tonight.
8 Mile. Own the DVD and video from Monday.
My wallet. My credit card was in it.
You do have a Capital One card, don't you?
No.
Don't worry. No one's going to pick it up around here.
Whether your card is lost or stolen, with a Capital One no-hassle Platinum card, you're not liable for a penny. Plus, we'll even courier you a replacement card if you're abroad.
What's in your wallet?
Sorry, came round last night.
Yeah? Did you tell him what I asked you?
Yeah, it's sorted.
He's bringing it.
Really, miss?
Shots! Knock 'em back!
We still have to work in the same old culture of disbelief.
They said if I was a refugee, why was I dressed up in a suit?
One of the difficult jobs is to identify them. They feel very disempowered because they don't know the system.
I was just moved like a puzzle.
Inside Britain's asylum system, desperately seeking. 10:30 Tuesday on ITV1.
In the mornings, people want to go and have a shower, get on the phone. But because there's only a couple of phones and a couple of showers, they've been stopping the association, saying they ain't got enough officers, blah, blah, blah. But the inmates wasn't having it, really, you know, so right on the yard, they had a sit-down.
What the management decided was that instead of getting the inmates out for association, which ties up 4 or 5 members of staff, they would give them an extra period out on the exercise yard, which only ties up 2 or 3 members of staff. The inmates quite happily went out at about 3 o'clock. When it was time for them to come in at 4 o'clock time, they just refused to come in.
Well, we all went out, and they opened the gate for us to come in, and like nobody went in. And about a couple of minutes later, they come out again, opened the gate, nobody went in again, and that was it. The gate was shut, didn't open again, and it was all like that.
Okay, sit yourself down. Do you understand procedure of adjudications?
No.
You don't understand the procedure?
Adjudication, what's that?
Adjudication is what you're on now, okay? Yeah. And this form 1145 explains procedure to you.
All right.
Yeah? Do you understand what it's all about? Yeah. Okay.
What we're doing here today is opening each adjudication on each of the prisoners who took part in the passive demonstration last Saturday. The process is that each of them have been charged with refusing an order to leave the yard. We're doing a total of 60 adjudications resulting from an incident on the yard. So we've got 4 adjudicating governors doing hourly stints. We've got teams of staff available all day to make sure the process is done today within the timescales that we have to do it in.
The above prisoner was one of a group of prisoners taking part in the exercise. I unlocked the gate to allow them to leave the yard to return to the wing. At this point, there was no attempt by any prisoner to leave the yard.
Okay, do you understand the charge?
Yeah.
Have you made a written response to this?
No.
And how do you plead?
Guilty.
Guilty. Okay, due to the nature of the charge, this will be remanded for independent adjudication and for purposes of investigation.
How much English do you understand?
I speak just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Can you read English? No. So have you not been able to read this? So you don't know what this means? No. Has any member of staff explained to you what it says?
Sorry?
Has anybody read it for you and spoken to you about what this is? No? Because this process is based in law, he has to have the opportunity to defend himself, and he can't do that clearly unless he understands the charge. He's going to be deported anyway. So the other judgment now is, actually, is it worth proceeding at all? Because the referral to the independent adjudicator would not necessarily be able to be done that quick. Do you understand what I'm saying to you now?
Sorry, just a little bit.
Yeah, okay. All right, take him back to his cell, and we'll see what we can do in terms of translation. It might be we'll have to get... It's quite possible they were unwitting participants because of the fact they wouldn't have understood the original order to come in. And not having observed the other prisoners going in, they probably didn't realise the exercise period was finished. So there's all sorts of considerations that we need to take account of in determining whether we proceed and how we proceed.
To 15:45 hours, you disobeyed a lawful order to leave the exercise yard. Okay, do you require any help or assistance on this adjudication?
No.
And will you be calling any witnesses?
Quite possibly. I did speak to a number of staff to be asked to be let back in. So. Staff witnesses, yeah?
%80 of the people wanted to come in, and they was going at the gate asking the officers, and they were saying no, I'm not letting you in. And it started raining. They went and put their coats on with their cups of tea. Other officers walking past saying, them chips was nice, you know, you missed your tea, like winding them up.
I think they felt quite simply that, well, we'll stay out here for a couple of hours and then they'll let us back in. By the time it would have got to 2 hours, it had gone way beyond just letting them off the yard. We had to be sure that we could do that in a controlled and safe manner. We didn't know what their agenda was at that time because they hadn't been talking to us.
Next minute you see loads of vans pulling up, Mucky squad all coming in. They can spend that sort of money, why can't they spend it like in here, sorting the place out? Wasting money like that, they'd have just said, you know, everybody wanted to come in, but they wasn't letting them.
It was necessary to ensure that I'd got sufficient staff, A, to do the searching, B, to escort them to the cells, and C, to make sure that should they decide to escalate the indiscipline, I was able to control it once they came off the yard. When we felt we were safely in a position to be able to control that number of prisoners, we would bring them off the exercise yard. We would have a list of those prisoners. We would call them forward, identify them, search them, and then escort them up to the cells. The key to the whole thing was, at the end of a 6-hour incident, there'd been no injuries to staff, no injuries to prisoners, no damage to the fabric of the prison, and there had been no compromise or risk of security breaches. It was seen that the issue was very much about having their association restricted and consequently having their ability to contact wives, girlfriends and family. And that's a lesson perhaps we need to learn from.
Right then, Paul, what I want to do now, quickly look through that. I'm going to go through the details again, make sure that we've got the facts, what we're going to supply to the investigating adjudicators and then just check the details of the prisoners. Because if we're going to ship a few out, we want to get them right. We don't want to be sending prisoners away that have got court appearances next week. We've carried out a number of interviews over the last few days. Prisoners who have expressed an interest to help the establishment. They've said they'll give a statement and they'll be interviewed. And from that, what we're trying to do is identify the ringleaders. Richard?
Yeah.
Are you ready for these prisoners?
Yeah.
I'll give you the details. Right, we've got Delta Foxtrot, 9791. Tell me when you got him up.
DF 9791.
Okay. He's doing robbery, yeah?
That's correct.
Delta Foxtrot 7769.
Main offence, ABH, was sentenced to 6 months and he's a Cat C.
Friday tomorrow.
Friday, yeah.
I've got 2 staff for the afternoon. Yeah. We could get rid of... Take 2 of those tomorrow, without a doubt. Yeah. In fact, we might be able to get rid of the 5 if we play it right. Yeah. I personally think that you'll go with us to get rid of the 5, because out of 60, if we've identified 5, and those are the ones that intimidated all the others to stay on the yard, or certainly those 5 had the major part of it. Yeah. If we get rid of those 5 throughout the area and split them up, we're pushing out to the other prisoners that we're not going to tolerate this behaviour. We'll go in now and present it to the governor, right? Yeah. The prisoners know. They're saying to us now, you know they are, because they're talking, they're saying, we've told you, what are you going to do about it? And that's fair play for them to say that.
In terms of our population management, certainly myself and the governor had concerns that the population mix at the moment, because we've had so many overcrowding drafts in excess of 100 prisoners here as a result of overcrowding drafts at the moment. Whether that is contributing to anything, either from the point of view of the prisoners themselves who are coming in being, having some form of unrest, or because the Gloucester prisoners are feeling uneasy about them being here. Is there any evidence of that in any case?
The 2 assaults we had yesterday weren't linked to that type of incident.
They were both locals, weren't they?
Both locals.
Yeah.
Self-arms haven't particularly increased.
Right.
GOODs, the normal run of play. So we've had no indicators, or I would say, to that effect. A little bit of a feeling on the wing is that some of these people, really, if we had the right core of prisoner in, would be nothing.
Then there's a big London gang that's been caught in swindling and doing whatever, and they're certainly, they could handle themselves, but they said they're totally at their depths at the moment because they don't know what the population likes here, what the reaction is, what the score is. They've only been here a matter of a few days.
I think they'd feel probably more comfortable if we identified the right people and got them out.
Okay.
That might give us some credibility.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll speak with the area manager, see what we can arrange, see if we can do something fairly quickly.
Well, it didn't really achieve anything, did it? Because nobody thought it was going to go as far as it did. I suppose it all started as a bit of a laugh, but if you'd have planned it properly and told them all, I suppose it could have worked different.
They would look back at, I suppose, what happened in the exercise yard, ship a few people out, ghost them out, and nothing would change.
There's no life for anybody, For these young kids that are out there on drugs thinking, oh yeah, it's going to be like, oh, we'll only go to prison, we'll only go to a YO or something. Putting it bluntly and straight to the point, it's crap. Yeah, I've been in and out of prison now since I was about 26, 27, I can't remember actually. Might have been younger. But yeah, it's no life for anybody, you know. So these young kids that are out there on drugs thinking, oh yeah, it's going to be like, oh, we'll only go to prison, you know, we only go to a YO or something. Putting it bluntly and straight to the point, it's crap, because they haven't got a life. It just annoys me really when people turn around and say it's only this, only a year or something, you know, it's a year of their life. It is hard, prison is harsh, it can be, but once you get used to it, you know, and you're a known face in the prison, it becomes easier, so there is no sort of like threat to them, so they'll go and do crime and they'll do their drugs and then they'll come into prison because it's nothing to them, they're used to it. Oh, I found out I was ill when I couldn't swallow, I was bringing up blood. The doctor told me it was probably an ulcer. And then when I went back 2 weeks later, he told me I had cancer, which was pretty sort of a bit of a blow. If I don't have chemo, I've got 10 months to 12 months to live. If I have chemo and radiotherapy, I've got 3 to 5 years. 1 to 3 years. And if I have, God, chemo, radiotherapy, and they want to operate on me as well. If I decide to have the operation, I've got probably about 3 to 5, something like that. You know, but that's just a prediction. Most people are wrong with their predictions, so, you know, I live for today.
I spoke to wing staff about him and they say he's very low profile, low key sort of individual.
He's on A wing. He's got a long history of heroin addiction. This was an opportunistic theft. He was shoplifting again as a heroin addict to fund his...
HTC is home detention curfew, or better known as tagging, where prisoners who are serving under 4 years are able to be released early, having been assessed that they're not too dangerous for the community and can serve part of their sentence in the community wearing a tag which basically monitors their movements between certain times. HTC was introduced some time ago, and fairly recently it was changed to something called presumptive HTC. A criteria now exists where prisoners doing less than 12 months will automatically be considered, providing they haven't committed certain types of violent or sexual offences.
All right, we'll start discussing prisoner A at present. He's a presumptive HTC case. He's serving 4 months for an offence of burglary. He doesn't have...
I never expected to come here in the first place. You realise what you've got, you know, when you're missing it, sort of thing. Well, you miss your family, work. You don't realise what you've got until it's gone.
He's got a bit of an offending history, but there's nothing that excludes him from consideration. He's been no problem since he's been here. He's proposing to go and live with, rejoin his partner, who is quite happy to have him back, and the outside probation officer check is indicating that that's a suitable address.
He's previously had home detention curfew, which he successfully completed. And another positive thing, after a history of road traffic offending, he apparently is now a legal driver.
I found it good for myself because for work reasons I was still able to get out there and do my work. Even though you're curfewed on the night time, you can still go about your everyday business and get back to living, sort of thing.
I think it's quite positive he's actually had HTC successfully in the past. So I think under those circumstances we will be recommending him for release to the Governor.
What I'm going to be doing now is actually looking at the assessment of the Home Detention Curfew Board. We've got probation service risk assessment in relation to the application. What I'm looking for is obviously violent offences, drug offences and sexual offences, and there's nothing there in this case. Curfew instructions can be at any time really, depending on when the offending took place, so curfews will be imposed around the times when he traditionally goes out and offends, or they may be imposed around times of work so that he can go to work each day, come home, but then will be curfewed for the remainder of the day and the night. Once the recommendation for home detention curfew has been authorised by myself or the Governor, the HTC clerk will then notify the private contractor who's responsible for fitting and doing the monitoring of the person that's under curfew. prisoner will be discharged in the normal way, as any other prisoner would do without the tag, and he will then be required to go to the nominated address and wait there for the contractor to arrive, who will then fit the tag to his leg.
This is what you would do when you come in the morning, isn't it? Come in and switch this on. OK, Oscar 2, I'm going to leave the net, but I'm in the video link should you need me urgently, over.
As received, Oscar 2. Thank you.
Here he comes, so you know. There we are. This is Gloucester's video link court, which will link up with Stroud Magistrates Court, serving all of Gloucestershire, and very shortly Hereford will come online, and that will be followed by Worcester. So this is our courtroom, but it's in a prison.
Number 2 is the chairman of the magistrates.
Yeah.
The table.
Hi. We've got a lot of people in prison who have not been sentenced, they've just merely been charged with an offence, but because of the degree of the offence, the magistrates have decided that that person should be kept in custody. With prisoners who've been remanded, they can actually have their appearance dealt with by a video link. It can only be a remand hearing, a prisoner can't be sentenced or anything like that over the link.
What's that? That's the one that's one defendant, 4, so that you won't see anything in the court.
It's going to cut down on transportation costs to start with. It certainly cuts out the element of escape, because prisoners are not going to escape whilst we walk them from the cells to here.
No, all right.
Can we do it in reverse now, Andrew? And if you put yours on so that you've just got a view of your selves, and we'll dial you up. Right, now go across to S, right down the bottom.
Yeah, I can see that one.
Pick that one.
There we go.
That's right. Go to S. Right, now bring that on. That's it. Okay.
I hope they're still there.
Put it on the tea break. Hello.
Hi, guys.
We done it eventually.
Yeah.
Is this all your personal property? I'm going to keep that for you now, and we'll give it you on discharge, right? On discharge. You're going to leave with a grand total of £140.67p. That's made up of £90.42 of your own money, a £46.75 discharge grant, and £3.50 in bus fares. We'll sign for that, please. Okay. The next thing, the most important thing really, is your licences. HCC licences, home detention curfew, okay? Under provisions of the Section 34A of the Criminal Justice Act 1991, you are being released on licence, and you must comply with the conditions of this licence. You'll be subject to a home detention curfew, and the objective of the home detention curfew is to help you manage your return into the community. So you're to remain at that address every day for the period of your home detention curfew, from 6:45 in the evening until 6:45 in the morning.
Do you understand that? That means you can't go out of the house, okay? You've signed the curfew licence to say that you understand it, and I will be giving you a copy of it to take with you. Do you understand that? By virtue of the length of your sentence, you're banned from anything to do with firearms for a period of 5 years from today's date. That includes imitation firearms, ammunition, and anything else that might just go bang. Do you understand that? Right, that's everything. When the officer's ready, you can go. Okay? Don't forget to make sure you're there this afternoon, all right? Thanking you.
I think it's a good idea. I mean, obviously, if they've committed a serious crime, they're not going to be given it anyway, but for petty crime, so to speak, it gives them a chance. I mean, we all make mistakes in our life, and, you know, people have got different views about the law, that people should be sent to prison for this and sent to prison for that and not for that, and I think it's nice that they can be given a chance to come out.
The video interview kiosk is used quite separately from any hearings as a kind of electronic equivalent to an official visit.
Your hearing today is taking place over the video link. This does not change the seriousness and importance of the hearing, and we will be proceeding as if you're present in the court.
You're responsible for maintaining order and control in the court,
That is your responsibility. And in the court there is an alarm bell. And the way that the court is laid out is that the officer can access the door before the defendant. If you do have an alarm bell down there, get that other door open as quickly as possible, because staff won't be able to get in because they don't know the code number.
There is a health and safety issue there, isn't there? Of staff not being able to get into that area.
You could say that about A-wing if somebody jammed the locks up.
In the normal course of running of events, you can get onto A-wing, can't you, with a key?
Not if somebody's jammed the locks up, not if they barricade it up.
Yeah, but the situation